Right now I'm in a state of mind I wanna be in like all the time. Ain't got no tears left to cry. So I'm christening it up, I'm picking it up, I'm loving, I'm living, I'm christening it up, christening it up, I'm christening it up, I'm loving, I'm living, I'm christening it up. Well, hello there, or moin, as we say here in Hamburg, and welcome to Stitch-Ilonka. My name is Ilonka. Yes, it's spelled with an I, but pronounced with an E. And this is my channel about cross-stitching, and yeah, I'm gonna take you along on my cross-stitch journey that started last year in summer. I'm talking about cross-stitch, obviously, it's a cross-stitch channel, but I also talk about this and that and the odd international story that I throw in for good measure. And I usually provide timestamps down in the drop-down section of this video. So if you want to skip to a certain part, feel free to do so. So as you heard when you started this video, I hope you're still here and not just turned off right away when you heard me singing. I hope so. I am christening it up this year as well. I have had a wonderful shout out by the lovely CrossStitch this week, and I am just over the moon. You know that feeling when you're in school and you have, like, there are these people on, or these students in the court when you are at recess or something, and you really just want them to acknowledge you, to wave over and say hi. This happened to me this year, this week, sorry, and not just by CrossStitch, but also by Dr. Kristi, Kristi's Corner, and I am just so happy. And yeah, so I thought I'd make my own effort, and I am christening it up this year, as well as Darcy recommended, or he came up with this wonderful hashtag to christ it up this year, so to do what you want and to not feel bad about it. So I slipped into my fluffy slippers, I put on my cardigan that I've sewn myself, and I put on that scarf that my mom knit, the last present that I got from her before she passed, and put on some fragrance, although I suppose I won't be going out today. But anyway, I am just showing up for myself and making an effort for myself and also for you. So yeah, so this is my way of christening it up. I'm over here looking over there because I have my computer behind the phone, and I made some notes so that I won't forget things that I really wanted to say, because of course it's cool to be acknowledged by other Flosstubers and to have a shout out by other Flosstubers, but the more important thing about this community is the interaction with all of you. So I want to send a very happy belated birthday to our dear friend Vanessa Stitcherness on Instagram. And she stands for all these wonderful people who come back to our videos week by week, or bi-weekly in my case, and yeah, just show up and comment and say hi and enjoy our content and motivate us to do another video, to kind of think outside the box, to make an effort, to really, you out there, you're watching it and you seem to enjoy it. I mean, I had kind of a bump in subscribers again, so I'm doing something right, and it really gives me a lot of joy, and it's a lot of fun thinking about what am I going to do this week, and what am I going to say, and how can I make this video interesting for you. And so Vanessa, as a stand-in for all those wonderful people coming back to our Flosstubes and enjoying the content and commenting and liking and kind of spreading the word on various social media. This is just really wonderful, and you make this community what it is. And I want to say thank you very much. And Vanessa, I hope you had a wonderful birthday yesterday. You had this great start that you showed on your Instagram page, your birthday start, and I'm very, very much looking forward to your progress on that. So usually I film on Thursdays, and but I had my booster shot on Wednesday, and yesterday I was just feeling sore all over. I felt like as if I had helped friends, you know, moving a 4-person apartment from the 5th floor to somewhere else into the 5th floor without an elevator. That's how I felt. My body was aching all over and I was really feeling sore, but today I'm all better. But my manager said that I can stay at home today as well, and so I am able to film in daylight, and I have the reflections of the window that I'm sitting opposite in my glasses. I hope it won't be too bad. But yeah, I was actually thinking about postponing this Flosstube because there were so many things that I wanted to do that I was inspired by a few people from their Flosstubes, which I'm going to talk about later a bit. But and I was thinking, well, I want to do these plans first, and then I'm going to do a Flosstube and show you all these things. But then I thought, well, there's still a lot of things that I can tell you this week, so I might just crack on with it. And who knows when I will have the next opportunity to film in daylight. That's just wonderful. Now let's just get into the video. Okay, my first segment that I really enjoy and that CrossStitch was actually also enjoying is the phrase of the week. I am putting out phrases in German and in English that I kind of know the translation for, and I am so very curious to see how other countries translate these phrases or these sayings into their languages. And Chris actually said that he enjoys the segment a lot, and he actually wanted to contribute with some of his own colorful translations and in his wonderful southern drawl, and maybe he will do this next time, or he will do this in his videos, and I'm very much looking forward to this. So last week's phrase was, and I'm again looking over there to my computer, the last week's phrase was the straw that broke the camel's back. And in Germany, it's called, or we say, it's the drop of water that makes the barrel overflow. And it's actually the same in Dutch and in Danish as well. So I think that, you know, this whole region of Central Europe and the Scandinavians are very close with their sayings in this particular thing. But and also in Polish, because Michal, star parade here on Flosstube, he told me that it's more or less the same in Polish as well, but they say it's not a barrel that overflows, but it's a goblet of bitterness that overflows. And I found this very nice. In the Czech Republic, you would also say it's the last drop of water. And I found it funny that Stephanie from So Glover Creations said, well, for her, the translation would be, this is the cherry on top. And she doesn't like cherries at all, so this would be something that really tips her off. So yeah. So see, you can also have translations within your own, within your language for these things. And the second phrase that I put out there was to make a mountain out of a molehill. And in Germany, we say to make an elephant out of a mosquito. And apparently in Farsi, which is the official language of Persia, you would say to make a straw into a mountain. So to make straw into a mountain. And in the Czech Republic, you would say making a camel out of a mosquito. And I found this so funny. If this is really true, I mean, why would they not tell the truth about their languages? But if this is really true, then it was just kismet for me to pick these two phrases that have, like, that in their languages, in Farsi and in Czech, combine these two phrases into one. So like making a camel out of a mosquito and to make straw into a mountain. And I just thought it was so hilarious. And but what I liked the most was in Polish, the translation for making a mountain out of a molehill would be to make needles into a pitchfork. And he told us this the other day when we were in a Zoom call, and I really thought, well, isn't this just perfect? I need someone out there to make a cross-stitch pattern for this image, you know, a pitchfork out of needles. And I just thought this was hilarious. So today's two phrases, I'm not really sure, I don't have the English translation for one of them, but I'm very curious if you can come up with your own picture for this, is die Kirche im Dorf lassen. So to leave the church inside the village. And you would usually say that when you are in discussion and someone really overdoes it. You know, if someone really exaggerates and wants to say, so don't overdo it, you know, don't blow it out of proportion, just leave the church in the village. And this is an interesting picture because back in the days when people really couldn't, you know, all come to, well, no, let me put it another way. Back in the days, they would have processions, you know, like the pastor or whatever, the spiritual leader of a church community would lead processions through the village, you know, with a cross and everyone walking behind him. And he would just go through his village where his church is. And but then he would, you know, make this procession even bigger and maybe go to the next village. But in the next village, there would be another church, and they have their own church community. So, you know, so that you don't get bigger and bigger with what you actually want to do, like to stay in your own kind of jurisdiction, is that the right word? But stay in your own playground. So leave the church in the village. And I'm very curious to see what this would be in your language. And the second phrase is viele Köche verderben den Brei. So many cooks spoil the pap or the puree. And I think that there's an English translation that says many cooks spoil the broth. But that was rather boring. So maybe you have a more interesting translation for that. So if you have, like, if you want to make a decision and there are so many people involved in a project and they all think that they have a say in that, and they all want their aspects of this project met, and they all want to have a say in what the final product will be. So if there are too many cooks in the kitchen, then in this case, the puree or the pap, the mush, would get spoiled. So please tell me down in the comments what the translation for these phrases would be in your language. I'm very much looking forward to that. Okay, now let's get on to the whips, the works in progress. I've been working on Arrakis a bit this past 2 weeks. And I thought it would be okay. As I told you, once I was here at the first moon, I was like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's getting interesting, and I can see something, and it's going to be fun to work on this even more. And I did. Well, again, this is Visit Arrakis. The Etsy store is CountryMagicStitch. They have many of these wonderful visit posters for all different types of nerdy things. So have a look at it. Maybe you find something you like. And I have been working on this guy. Oh, this is cool. Filming in daylight is really good. This is a good representation of the color. I've been stitching on this when I was in a Zoom call, on a Stitchy Zoom call, and so I didn't really have to think that much, and I was just stitching away. And currently, the back actually looks much cooler than the front. And someone actually, I posted this on Instagram, and someone actually pointed out it looks like a combination of half stitches and 10 stitch, and that's exactly what it is, because I do half stitches with 3 strands on 18 count Aida, and once I go into one direction I just can do this, and when I come down there and I go into the other direction, I usually pull the thread over to come down through the bottom hole every time. So that way you get the pattern of the 10th stitch, like here. I'm actually thinking about hanging it up like this. What do you think? No. So yeah, this is a labor of love, and I think I'm gonna have a lot more fun with it in the upcoming weeks. What have I gotten myself into? Goodness me. Next thing that I've been working on is this one here. These top parts came in a bit more blue, and it's getting a bit more colorful, but yeah, just a project that I whip out every now and then. I actually, as I said last time, I am not doing whip go in that sense, but I'm doing, I'm having this wheel. Let me tell you something about this wheel. I'm having this wheel that you can spin, that you can put your whips in, and then you just spin the wheel and it tells you what you should stitch on that week. And the other day I was sitting on the sofa with my boyfriend and I was like, okay, what shall I stitch on? What do you think I should stitch on right now? And he was like, I cannot tell you that. I cannot tell you what you should do right now. I mean, it's up to you. It's like, you should decide. I told him, well, if I'm asking you, what should I stitch on? It's the same with what should I wear? You are not making the decision for me. You are just putting out a thing that I can kind of search my subconscious to if I want to do it or not. So if you ask your spouse, what shall I wear or what should I stitch on? And they give you an answer, that doesn't really make you stitch on that or wear that, but it's just a coin flip, if you will, for your subconscious to say, oh yeah, that's a good idea, or no, I'd rather not. I'd rather wear the other pair of shoes, or I'd rather stitch on something else. You know, this is just a tip, or not a tip. It's just, you know, an impulse, if you will, to think about what you want to do. Yeah, keep that in mind whenever you get asked by your spouse, or if you ask your spouse. This is the final thing that it will look like. It's by PRINTandDECOR on Etsy, and yeah, this is what it's going to look like once it's finished. And I'm stitching this as a tribute to my mom's passing, and that's why I cannot really work that often on it. Sometimes I really feel like, you know, sometimes, like today, I was feeling like wearing this shawl, although it's not, you know, below 0 temperatures, freezing temperatures if you're in the US. But I just felt like having a bit of, you know, mommy cozy around me. The next thing that I've been stitching on is the Fraktur Love Sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I am so happy that I can film in daylight right now because the color come across really nicely. It's stitched on 32 count even weave in vintage marble, and the color is Weeks Dye Works Deep Sea. And I completed the leaves down here, and I'm starting on these flowers up here. This is what it will look like once it's finished. So I'm quite close to finishing. So just these two big flowers and some little more of decoration there. But I think that I will have to order another skein of the Deep Sea, and I hope the dye lot is kind of matching this one, but I'm sure, as this is not that marble, this color is not, it is a bit, but it's not that disco marbling that Michal was talking about the other day. So it's not that big of a gradient, and I really think that it's coming along quite nicely. I love it. I love it very much. So my new start this week or last week was this lovely pattern that I found on Etsy a few weeks back, or actually a few months back right now. It was by the Etsy seller Create Your Style 2020. Unfortunately, this particular pattern is no longer online, but he or she has a similar one where the girls are a bit more, let's say, like a bit more stylized, more of a comic strip style. And I really don't know what I've gotten. I purchased this, I started it, I loved it, but when I purchased this, it was at the beginning of my CrossStitch journey, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, because once I started it right now, I said, well, why didn't I start it on black fabric so that I would just have to stitch the colors and not the black too? But what did I do? I started it on 18 count easy grid Ada, and so I have to stitch all the black and then all the color. But I have to say, I just love it. Look at this coverage. I am stitching this with black ink by the Thread Gatherer. It's a silk thread, and I know it's really expensive, but I could cry every time I look at it. The coverage is just immaculate, if this is the right word. I like the word, so I just said it. It feels wonderful because it's silk, and it's truly a labor of love that I'm completing here. This is Blanche, and I'm usually starting from the right-hand side because I'm left-handed, and I'm really happy how she looks. This is the back, and my boyfriend said when I was stitching this, he said, well, from afar it looks like, are you stitching on Marilyn Monroe? And yeah, so have a look at this black again. Oh, I really love it. And as I said, it's gonna be a lot of work, but I think it's worth it in the end. I still haven't started my Modern Folk Embroidery sale for 2022 yet. 2022, yes. And as you might know, if you watched me before, is that I have this wonderful pattern by the Werkstatt für historische Stickmuster, a German company for historical stitch patterns. They have these wonderful, vibrant, colorful patterns, and they sell them with silk threads. And I got one for Christmas, and I still haven't started it because it's on linen, and I was like, it's so precious and I don't want to mess it up, so I have to practice on linen first. I'm really good at making excuses. If you ever need one, you know, call me, like, or write to me, and I am really good with making excuses. It's one of my best traits. So I was starting something on linen. This is a, oh yeah, this is the moment that I would need something in the back. Oh yeah, that's better. This is the Winter Mini Quaker by Stitches Through the Years. And I started this on 32 count Belfast linen by Zweigart in the color Platinum. And this is what it looks like so far. And this is my first time stitching on, like, really, like, with a purpose, like with the intention of finishing it, not just trying it out, but really stitching on it. It's really a completely different thing than, let's say, doing this. These are two different hobbies. I feel it's a different space, it's a different mindset or a different headspace that you're getting into when you work on linen. And when you work with these wonderful overdyed flosses that I purchased for them. And I am not, speaking of overdyed flosses, I am not too sure if I have to change out certain colors because they don't show up that well on this linen. Although I have to say now at daylight, see, it's so great that I can film at daylight. Now in daylight, they don't look, sorry, they don't look too bad, do they? Yeah, I love it. And I plan on stitching the 4 seasons. I told you about it in my last Flosstube, and I think I'm going to put the link to the Etsy shop where I got it from Stitches Through the Years down in the Dropbox, because she made these mini Quakers. This is the size that it's going to be, and it's not going to be much further than this. And I'm going to put them all 4 on this longer piece of fabric, and then I can still decide if I cut them up and frame them individually, or if I will do a whole, like a big frame to frame it. But yeah, I really love how it came along so far. And now that I feel more comfortable in stitching on linen, I might actually be starting the other stuff. I'm just feeling, I'm just thinking and feeling into myself if I'm actually telling the truth or if there's something else that I want to start first. Yeah, I crack myself up sometimes. And also last time I talked about starting my first full coverage. I'm sorry, this was loud, I suppose. Last time I talked about starting my first full coverage, which was this here, and I was actually very brave and bold in saying that I wanted to start it on, you know, 25 count even weave, white even weave, 1/1. Yes, I can do it, ole ole. But then I just wussed out and I was like, well. It's gonna be very confetti heavy, and I cannot even say I'm not good at parking because I never tried it out. And, you know, doing your first parking on this confetti piece of pattern would be mind-blowing to me. And so I decided to order another 18 count 8er easy grid and, you know, do it the old-fashioned way. This is I was out, I have to say. But what I was doing was bobbinating all these beautiful flosses. And I just took my drill, and I posted this on on Instagram. I just took the drill and had these little plasticky things in between the prongs, and slowly, you know, pulled the trigger so it was rotating, and then I just bobbinated all the colors on this thing. It's like, let me think, 80 colors, I think. Yeah, it's 80 colors, and look at this colorway. It's like all the colors of the rainbow. It's gonna look so good. Yes, I'm so very much looking forward to it. And another full coverage that I was thinking about starting is Randall Spangler's A Train of Dreams. Let me just put a picture in here so that you can have a good look at it. This was brought to my attention by another lovely viewer, just like Vanessa. Michaela is one of these wonderful viewers, very engaged viewers in this community, who watches a lot of Flosstubes and is very active on Facebook. And she and some friends opened up a Facebook group for this Randall Spangler Train of Dreams sale. So it's a very low-key, easygoing group. There are no big goals that you have to fulfill or whatever. It's really stitching at your own pace and just enjoying the community and being together with other stitchers who enjoy this pattern. And I was thinking about, because this is not really my type of project or my type of aesthetics, let's say, but there are many different tiny things of this painting that I really enjoy, and I have an interesting idea on how to, you know, kind of only stitch small parts of it and maybe do some watercoloring around it. And I have some ideas for it, and well, now that I said it, I have to do it. I mean, I cannot just cut this thing out and you would never know about my plans. No, I really want to push myself and venture out into different things. And I have seen so many cool designs with watercolors on fabric, and I'm really gonna want to try that. And one other plan that I have is, that was what I said at the beginning of this video. The other day I was watching MousePotatoDesigns, Felicia. It's really amazing. She has got more or less the same taste that I have. Like, we are stitching. I was researching stitches through the years, you know, this wonderful Quaker thingy here. I was researching it, I was buying it, I was buying the floss and everything, and then I went on Instagram and she just posted that she is stitching on the same thing. And cuore batichiore, that I am also eyeing for a long time, that I want to start things from. And she is really, she's got this cool kind of country cottage aesthetic. And she has a new video out quite recently, and she showed how she kind of incorporates, and she's, she's also doing a lot of scrapbooking and Fobonichi and planning and, you know, paper crafting, which I also have done very much of during the last few years. And I was actually kind of sad that I haven't been doing it that much lately, because I really like, you know, playing around with photos and sticking them into albums and having journals. And if you can see back here, this is one of my journals from last year that I was kind of, you know, sitting down, contemplating about things, sticking pictures into, and making vision boards as you do. And I was really journaling a lot, and I was doing the one little word project, or one little word course, if you will, by Ellie Edwards. And my word for last year was love. And it was hard. I wasn't really good at it. I was sitting down a lot, journaling, thinking about, you know, you are prompted to journal about certain things, and about, you know, really meditating on things or thinking about things. And I realized that I'm really not well, that I'm really feeling awful, and that everything is just too stressful for me. And then I really put it down. I put it to the side. I didn't want to think about things anymore. And somehow I found stitching and this whole community, and it lifted me up so much that I actually kind of feel that I want to sit down with myself again and kind of think about things again, if that makes sense to you. And I chose, I'm not doing it that diligently as I did it before. You know, you have you get material from her that you can stick into your album, and prompts and printouts and stuff that you can work with during the year. And I was not doing it this year that diligently, but I thought that my word of the year, or my one little word of the year this year, will be Leben, which is the German word for either live or life. So Leben is the same as as a noun and as a verb, other than in English, which is life and live. So Leben would be my word for this year. And I want to kind of live again. This whole panini is so crippling on everyone's mental health. And I have found a wonderful German community that I am kind of evolving, and we want to meet up this year just once it's possible, in the summer maybe. And I really want to go out and live again and enjoy myself, and to live life, to Chris it up. There you have it. Full circle. Wonderful. you know what I mean. So anyway, what I was wanting to say. Now again, back to MousePotatoDesigns. So she has a similar kind of planner that I have here that I showed you a few videos back. And she actually has this monthly spread, and she prints out pictures of her process on different projects that she's working on and prints them out in the size of these squares and sticks them on with a piece of washi tape or sellotape or whatever. And then you can flip it up and she's journaling about it underneath. And so she has like a monthly spread of the things that she's been working on with some thoughts beneath it. And as I also have the weekly spread here and have some space here, of course, here I wrote a lot of things down. This was this week's, yeah. But I'm also thinking of, you know, sticking some of my finishes that I've given away as presents or so that I can kind of put them in here as well and journal about it, and, you know, kind of to have a kind of flip through book by the end of the year and see what my progress has been and how my stitching has evolved. Because maybe you've been with me from the beginning. Please don't go back and watch the first video. That was really crude. But if you've been with me for some time, you know that I started stitching with these nerdy stuff, and I'm still doing it, but I'm now branching out into more sophisticated stuff. I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, I'm stitching on linen right now. I'm feeling so sophisticated. So yeah, this is something that I wanted to start next week and see if I can kind of find my own interpretation of what Felicia was doing. So please go and check her out, her latest video. That was really, really nice. And now to something completely different. I talked about Kristi, Dr. Kristi in the beginning. She is Kristi's Corner Needlework here on Flosstube, and she is a medieval historian, and she also, you know, tells stories about the past. This is really not a good introduction to her, but anyways, you might already know her because she does this wonderful temperature pattern, the bookshelves and the cocktail glasses that you might have seen in one or the other Flosstube videos. Anyways, she started talking about weaving the other day again, that she got out her loom again and that she was weaving again. And I was like, well, I did that too a few years back, and I looked at her stuff and I was like, yeah, I have to find my old finishes. Well, they are not really fully finished, but they are finished. And I was always wondering how I can display them, because my boyfriend just said, well, what do you want to do? Would you just want to nail them to the wall or what? That doesn't really look appealing. And Kristi just uploaded a video this week or last week on Tuesday, showing us how to mount a piece of weaving to a piece of fabric covered board, and then how to sew it and how to frame it and stuff. So please go and check this video out, but this segment is just for you, Kristi. I hope you're watching. I wanted to show you some of my weavings that I did back in the day. But which one do I show first? Because no, this one is I was very obsessed with the different textures of different wools that you would use, and the different textures that you can achieve with different techniques. And so I went very monochrome on this, and when I looked at them the other day, I was like, how did I do that? I don't even remember it. This is over 2 and over 1, and this checkerboard pattern is so cool. I don't even remember how I did that. And then this, it doesn't really focus, too bad. But this is like, it looks like a knitted sweater. And then I had one of these variegated, this is all just one type of wool, which is variegated. And I was just, this doesn't really show up that well on screen, but it's very textured. I have some thread hanging out here and some trim here and stuff. But what I was really happy about when I saw it again was this one with different whites, different textures of wool and different techniques. And I really liked it back in the day. And I just didn't have any idea of how to display them. And now that I have an idea of how I can mount them on a piece of board and frame them, I might do that. I have actually a golden frame over there, sitting over there, waiting to be dealt with. And I was really just obsessed with the different textures of that you can achieve with just the technique that you use. You know, like looks like a knitted sweater, and yeah, this is just something that I wanted to show you, especially you, Kristi. I hope you watched it. But still, I have to say, I was actually quite inspired to get out my loom again and start weaving again. But to be honest, I am so much into stitching right now that I probably won't do it. But I would really, I really think about mounting this somehow. Either this one and this one, because I really just like the monochromity of it. Okay, so who can I shout out? Oh yeah, ouch. My dear friend Esther, the Danish.Stitcher. I invited her to my German-speaking Discord server, to my German stitching community, and they all bullied her into making German Flosstube videos. And she already uploaded a whip or finish parade for 2021 in German as well. And we are hard on we are really hard on her, trying to get her to make German Flosstubes as well. Because we have way too few German speaking Flosstubers here. And yeah, who else? Oh, I came across Pam, Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, and I've been binging a few of her videos. And do you know that feeling that when you watch someone on YouTube and you kind of assign a character, not a character, but a kind of a relationship type to that person? For example, I'm watching someone and I always feel like she's giving up this motherly quality. So I thought, or I think that she's my stitching mom, and then I have my stitchy cousin over in the US, and I have adopted a little stitching sister, and Pam is somehow like a distant cousin. We are cut from the same cloth, but we have had different life paths, but the essence is kind of the same, and that's the feeling that I get from her when I watch her. And it's really it's really nice just listening to what she's saying. And yeah, who else have I been watching? I've just started watching the Giddy Stitcher. I have been kind of following her, and I've been friends with her for quite some time, but I haven't really watched her videos before, and I don't know why. I have been talking to her, and we have been interacting, but I haven't watched a video from her. And then I started watching her, and just as Chris said, she's got this wonderful British accent that I had to ask her about. And because she reminded me of someone else, I've been always guessing where this person might be from. And so I sent her a video, and it's like, isn't that the same accent that you have? And she was like, well, I have been trying to get rid of this accent, and now you tell me that I sound just like him. And I think I am just picking up on these kind of different accents even more because I am from where I am from in Germany. in the center of Germany, in Hanover, that's where I was born, we speak the clearest German. Like, there is no accent whatsoever within Germany. So I've been always picking up on different German accents and of course accents, English accents from all around the world, and I am really enjoying that, and that's why I have this ear for that. And I'm really enjoying the Giddy Stitcher. She just made a cool video about intentional crafting. So not just or some, I don't want to say guidelines, but some helpful tips not to get overwhelmed in your creative endeavors, because we all want to start everything at once and to do everything at once, and you know, to have these this happy feeling once you finish something. And she just breaks it down a bit and gives you some ideas on how to think about your approach to crafting. And that was kind of interesting, this video it was. And who else? Yeah, I think, yeah, MousePotatoDesigns, CrossStitch, Vanessa. I just really love Vanessa. And I've been talking to her and Kaylee the other day on a Zoom call. That was really, really nice. I'm just feeling so welcome in this community and so happy. And you really made the second half of my year. And I want to say thank you very much. Now, before it gets emotional, let me just sign off as I usually do. In Hamburg sagt man tschüss. In Hamburg we say tschüss. And remember to Krissing it up, Krissing it up, Krissing it up.